In this lesson, we're going to talk about holes and drill points. They're two different things. So let's start by just doing a sample here. We're going to bring up a circle, and we're going to make this circle, we'll put it in the middle here somewhere, so it's easy to see. And we're going to cut pretty much right through it. We'll go right down to the bottom here. So we're going to end up with a 1/2 inch hole. And we're going to clear out a pocket, which is what you'd normally do for a hole. Okay, so we're going to simulate and watch what happens. We're going to take it through slowly. I'll bring it back to the beginning by clicking on this. I'm going to start the simulation. I'm going to speed up just a little bit, not too much. But notice the movement of the drill bit. It's going around and around, and starting at the center and working its way to the outside, then going down a little bit and doing it again. And this repeats this process over and over until it actually bores out this hole. And we'll call this boring, not drilling, but boring, in that we can take the bit that we have here, an 1/8 inch bit, and we can actually cut a very large hole with it. Now we found some limits. I'm going to stop this. We found some limitations with this. In other words, if I make this too small, it won't let me do it. So if I make this size 0.1 by 0.1, obviously that's, I missed it. Hang on a second. 0.1. There we go. Now we have a very small dot. Notice that it won't even do it over here. And why is that? Well, the reason is, of course, we can't bore a 0.1 inch hole with an 1/8 inch bit. As a matter of fact, it needs to be about 10% bigger than an 1/8 of an inch before it will bore the hole. So let's go back and make this a little bigger this time. And we'll make it 0.14 inches. 0.125 would be an 1/8 of an inch, so this is about 10% over, something in that range. And I'm not sure of the exact number. It may vary a little bit depending upon the bit. But now we'll make something that is 0.14 by 0.14. And let's see if it'll do that one. Oh, still won't do it. My goodness. All right. Oh, I didn't get it right. Hang on. 0.4. There we go. 0.1 by 0.1. Yes, it is. We'll be able to bore that. Let me open it up a little bit. Now, if we start our simulation and run it slowly, we'll have to run it pretty slowly this time to see it in action. Leave it at 0.1. There it comes out, and you can see that it is actually boring. It's going around in circles and creating that. So in order to bore a hole, you need to have a bit that's smaller than the hole itself by about 10%. That seems to be a fair number. Now, you'll notice that we'll go back to, we'll set up a series of holes in a minute, and I'm going to show you the difference between boring something and actually drilling it. So let's hang on a second and we'll move this up. All right, we're going to add some more circles here. Well, let's just copy what I have. That would be pretty easy. I'm going to do a copy. That's edit copy. Now I can say edit paste. All right, and now I have a second one right here. Hang on, let me get it and I'll move it a little bit. There we go. And I'll move it up a little bit. Let me see, we have 2 holes now. I'm going to paste again. And now we have 3 holes. Paste again. Now we have 4 holes. And I'm going to copy them all this time. I'm using Control C, which is a Windows copy, and Control V, which is a Windows paste. Now I can take the second one, and now we have 8 holes. Let's put them up here. No particular spot, but we have 8 holes. Let's do a simulation and see how long that takes. As you can see, it takes about a minute to do 8 holes. So let's double that up and see if we can make it work a little harder. So I'm going to copy all 8, Control C, Control V. I'm going to move it over a little bit this time. I'll do it Control V again. And I'll get some more. And finally Control V one more time. Yeah, let's see if we can move that over. Okay. It looks like I did mess something up here. Hang on a second. I'm going to remove that because I double clicked there, I think. Where's the remove? There it is. Alright, so let's go and do another paste, Control V. And this time I'll just take and move it back here so it's in the middle there. Alright, let's just simulate and see how long this takes. Alright, this takes 3 minutes to do all that. So that board's pretty quick, so we're going through a 1/2-inch piece of wood in about 3 minutes. Alright, now I'm going to take these holes and I'm going to set up a new group of holes, and these will be we will do automatically. So I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to move it up a little bit. I'm going to do it just a little different here, and I'm going to change that to cut on the outside. Oh, excuse me, on the shape. And there we have a shape. I don't know exactly what size it is, but I'm going to use one of the applications that we have. Let me click on that, and I'll go over the application side. In this case, I'm going to take it and I'm going to say I want to put a bunch of holes in this. I'm going to put holes on a path. You'll see this. So the hole diameter is going to be 0.126 by default because we have a 1 1/4, or excuse me, an 1/8-inch bit. But remember, if we don't go to 0.14 or higher, it won't cut them. But let's leave it where it was for a second. 0.125 we'll call it. We'll call it a depth is 0.5, because we'll drill right through. And we're going to repeat type. We're going to spacing. No, we're going to do number of holes. And we're going to make them about 1/4 inch apart. And the number of holes would reflect how many we do around it. Let's call it 50. That should be enough, I think. And if you look over here on the right, you can see that it's going to drill 50 holes. And that's what they're going to look like. All right? So we're going to import that. Now these holes are sitting right on the line. So we no longer need the line. So let's get rid of the line. Well, Control, let's see. We'll hit the delete key. Now we got rid of the lines, but now we have the holes. It looks like I deleted one of the holes too, but that's all right for this demonstration. It's okay. All right. So how long would it take to drill all these? My goodness, we got quite a few holes now. So let's simulate. All right, and see what happens. You'll notice that it ignored these holes because they're only 1/8 of an inch. It just ignored them. And the reason it ignored them because that rule of thumb that you need the hole has to be about 10% bigger than the drill bit in order to bore these holes. But let's make this a little something different. So we're going to take these. I'm going to click on this and everything here. And I'm going over to another application. Way down the bottom here. And this is called Convert Circles to Drill Holes. Okay, click on it. We're going to do them all. Replace the existing. Yes, going to import. Now look at the difference. Look at what it shows here. What we had was a bunch of holes here that are 1/8 of an inch in diameter, right? These were 0.14 inch diameter, but they're all going to be drilled with the same bit. This hole is no longer going to be 0.14 inches. It's going to be 1/8 of an inch, as are all these holes. So when you see these, so this is between the drill point and a bore. If we look at a simulation now, and let me change it. Let me go. I will simulate the whole thing here and see how long it takes. It takes 19 minutes to drill all these holes. All right, let's go back I'm going to back up a little bit and delete these, and I'll do another simulation. Remember, the last time it took 3 minutes. This time it takes 9 minutes. So there's a difference between drilling and boring. Now, boring, when you drill something, you essentially take the z-axis and go straight down into the wood without using the XY to make a circle. So it's a little different process. And let me go and put this back up. I'll use Control Z, which will give me back my original ones. And I'll simulate again. I'm going to mess this up a little bit. There we go. And again, it's 19 minutes to drill our holes. So those are the difference between holes that are drilled and holes that are bored. Remember, boring a hole, you take a bit and you create a hole that is bigger than the bit by at least 10% the size of the bit. If we want to drill a hole, however, we'll need to use, the only thing we can do is drill the same size as our bit. And then we're doing a drill at this point. Let's go back and change the bit size and see what happens. All right, I'm going to go back. I use Control Z to go back to past the point where we made these into drill points. Now we're back there. In this case, these holes are all plain bored holes, but not drill points. But I'm going to change the bit size here to a 1/16 of an inch. And when I do that, now look what happens. We can drill all these holes now. I've got all these 1/8 inch holes here. I've got these 0.14 inch holes here, and they all can be drilled using the 1/16 of an inch bit. Let's simulate and see how long that takes. It takes 30 minutes. That takes quite a bit of time to do that, doesn't it? Well, the reason for that is in order to do this, we have a lot of extra motion incurred. We have to move X and Y to create a circular pattern, and also move Z up and down to create the hole. So it takes quite a bit more time than just drilling holes. So it's an interesting difference, and I think it's one that you have to be aware of if you're going to be successful with Easel. Okay, see you in the next lesson.